Yeah.
You made a really good point the last time we tried to record this podcast, or the last time we did record it, but we threw it out and we're not going to use it. We're doing it again, so it's better.
What is it that sends you over the edge about it?
It's 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I'm in the middle of like a very serious edit.
And I sent an angry text.
I hear it ding. All it's going to say is that I'm watching X, Y, and Z, and they should have thrown out the first 3 fucking episodes.
You know when you've done everything and you've even...
Do you want to have sex?
No. And you feel great. And even though your sister still hates you... Thank you. You're pretending to be friends because your dad is... I'm joking, he's just there.
Here's to love.
Hey!
Cole brought this one to us, which is the first 5. I kind of go with the first 7 minutes of the first episode of season 2 of Fleabag. Kind of ironic considering I'm the one who is completely obsessed with this. And I believe, Cole, you referred to it as the Jaclynn origin story because I talk about it and I reference it and think about it so much. And yet, you brought it here. Why?
I brought it to us because, yes, this to me is Jaclynn's origin story. And it would be weird if Jaclynn were to say that herself, even though she kind of did just then. She said it with great confidence. So I'm proposing it for her so that we can all talk about it and have it in the open and in the background of anyone who's listening to this in the future's mind, that when Jaclynn is going to talk about something, she's probably going to bring the principles of...
I'm going to say something like, it's like episode 1 of season 2 of Fleabag. They should have thrown away the first 3 episodes and started in the middle.
Yeah, that's the number one note that Jaclynn gives everything that she ever watches, everything that she ever makes me watch, to the point that it makes me wonder, why did you make me watch this if your note was that they shouldn't have released the first 3 episodes?
I often will say you could start at episode 5 and I can catch you up. I can catch you up in 2 sentences, everything you'll need to know.
That is very true. Thank you for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The second reason that I brought this to us is because the amount of times that Jaclynn has brought up the apocryphal story of how this 5 minutes of screen time got written has sent me over the edge. It's the only note that she ever has about anything that she watches.
That's not true.
It feels true.
Because I've sent you over the edge. We're not dating and we are not married, but we might be a married couple. If you mention it one more time, Carol,
I will walk off the side of this cruise ship.
I am taking Jimmy with me and we are never coming back. Sent you over the edge. The only note I ever have. I'm joking, but it's starting to feel like I'm actually mad. So
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
What's going to happen?
It's fine, yeah. Robby was like, his eyes were wide. He's like, oh no, Mom and Dad are fighting. I'm not mad at all. But I would like the court. I would like the record to reflect that I have other notes than just this. But I think it's a really good note. And it comes from my improv training. It's 1 part improv training, start in the middle. And I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a phenomenal writer, and I only felt that more rewatching this. So it is a note I use a lot and one I put on myself a lot. Okay, carry on. If you have the mental health to do it, since I've sent you over the edge.
And on the positive side, Jaclynn's note with Fleabag Season 2, Episode 1 is also similar to my first question about any series or film that I watch because I hate watching things. My first question about anything now is, how many episodes do I need to watch before I'll know if I'm going to like it? And Jaclynn's note takes care of this.
The whole thing is, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I've read an interview where she said she wrote a different first 3 episodes and then she trashed them. So technically episode 1 of season 2 is the 4th episode. But she trashed the first 3 and then just starts there. And I think you can feel it. I think it's better for it. And then the 6 episode run she's granted is like, we're off and running. as I understand it and as I apply it to my own life and the only note I ever give about anything, I'm not arguing for montages. What those 3 episodes were like that 371 days, 19 hours, and 26 minutes. It kind of fills you into what had happened up to that point.
Tell me what that number means, please.
A title card, it says 371 days, 19 hours, 26 minutes later. And that's from like when we leave her in episode 1 to this dinner. That's how much time has passed. So we know that right away. We know it's been a year. And then those 3 episodes were catching us up. But all of that is now within like the first 90 seconds to 5 minutes of the new episode. And now we're just off and running. And I think I love that. Like instead of getting 3 episodes, we see it in 90 seconds. I mean, it's condensed, sure, but I think it's more powerful than that, which is 3 whole formed episodes existed. They got thrown away. They got put to the side. And then she found ways to weave them into the next 6 episodes. But a lot of that work was done in the first 90 seconds. So yes, like all of that was condensed into 90 seconds, but also woven throughout the 6 episodes. And I love that. And I think it's brave. I think it's hard. I think our work, all of us as writers, I think it's brave to trash it. And I also think it's often necessary work. As creators of universes, as writers are, you know, like we're creating worlds, we're creating universes where I think we do need to put all of that stuff out to find it. So you need to write it. It needs to exist. You need to get there. But being brave enough to just not think that like every word you have is precious. Like it's all necessary, but it doesn't necessarily all have to be like made or shown.
And I should also give Jaclynn, she doesn't want me to say this word, but I'll say it anyway, mad props. that Jaclynn actually enacted the note on herself while editing her short film Married, where I suggested that after she presented me with a pretty perfect edit that, wow, it's pretty perfect. You should start over. And
I did.
And it's amazing for it.
I think it works if you have the time and the ability to do it. Because one of them was like a technically perfect edit. It's sort of like if you went to editing school and you did all the things you're supposed to do, and it was so boring. Like it lost like any personality.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was like, oh yeah, like if we had hired out an editor, that's what we would have gotten. Like that's a technically perfect edit, and it's precise, and it is, I don't know, film school editing 101.
Start with the wide, move into the medium, hit them with the close on the end, transition out, rinse and repeat.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Boring as
So
all
boring.
get out.
Yeah, so boring. And so we scrapped it. So like doing that extra edit was like, I needed to see what a perfect edit looked like to know sort of what I was doing and what the tone of my film was. And it's like that it's funny and it's a little Mr. Bean-esque and it's supposed to be kind of imperfect. And I wanted it to be funny, not perfect. And I needed to do that. I didn't know that.
This montage, because I hate montages generally because the joke behind them is usually, isn't it cute that we made a bunch of stuff for you to kind of sort of ignore? Whereas this one's gag is, we made a bunch of stuff for everyone that you needed to ignore. Like we needed to get past this to get to the actual good stuff.
It's a gift to the audience in which we're going to start you in the middle, but we're not going to start you blind.
Right.
And so you're not going to be lost. I mean, it opens with a like, what the F, right? Which is, you know, good storytelling. Like, what's going on? There's a bloody nose, there's a male voice, and there's a woman on the ground that she hands a towel to. Like, what is this? It's brand new to the world. This doesn't feel anything like season 1. So it does that. But then it goes into, it gives you everything you need to know really fast. It does not keep you clueless. It gives you so much information. I am so glad we came back to do this because I sat with it a lot. And I've sat with it a lot for years. But I would also argue it's not a montage, it's many things. And it's more than a montage because I'm also not arguing for montages. I would like that also on record. I do not believe like a montage is a magical thing we should all do. I do not. I have very strong feelings about that. It's a gift to the audience. It says, we're not going to bore you by taking you through these 371 days, 19 hours, and 26 minutes. but we're also not going to leave you clueless to what happened. Here's a whole bunch of information and we're off and running. Like you're in the rocket ship, but you are like well prepared. You have all your snacks and your oxygen mask and we're going. And to me, that's a gift. So now I just get to watch fun, crackling, interesting stuff. I don't have to watch like Fleabag's in boot camp doing squats and then she's eating good food and I don't have to see her healing journey. I don't have to see her like come up with chatty Wednesdays for the cafe. Like we're just like, we're in.
Yeah.
I guess then I would say, on first glance, I like to make fun of you for loving this intro so much because at first glance, it's a montage, but it's not, in fact. And I'd love for you to take us through beat by beat, helping illustrate how much more it is than a montage.
It's so cool, guys.
Also, Robby, do you have feelings about this?
No,
or like, because this is you're seeing 10 years of relationship play out
Robby's
right here.
really just like seatbelt on. Here we go.
No, I got nothing to.
Have I sent you over the edge yet?
No. Actually,
Didn't even know I'd sent Cole.
The more I just wanted to know a little bit more why Cole was sent over the edge before you got into it. Like, what is it that sends you over the edge about it?
I don't believe you.
The moments when it is true that I am sent over the edge is when it's 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday and I'm in the middle of like a very serious edit.
And I sent an angry text.
I hear it ding. All it's going to say is that I'm watching X, Y, and Z, and they should have thrown out the first 3 fucking episodes. I don't need that text.
That's true. That's happened a lot.
I was listening to the Smartless podcast with who's the Edgar Wright.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God, that's another
Also,
Jaclynn. Another Jaclynn Cole.
Old Jaclynn effing dragged me to in-person Edgar Wright screenings and interviews so that I could find out that Jaclynn really likes match cuts.
Wait, match cuts?
That's a whole other man. You just stumbled into a whole other Jaclynn Cole 10 years worth of prop. I did not go to film school, and Cole for some reason has really enjoyed collaborating with me, but I will try to describe things and I will describe what I like wrong for ages. So yeah, I was like, no, it's like I love his whole directorial style. I love all of it. I love this. I love that. And Cole's like, okay, let's go. And then it's just I like what I could have said was I like match cuts. Which I do.
Took us to a very serious screening of Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
And I'd never seen an Edgar Wright film before.
I do really like Edgar Wright. I love the Cornetto trilogy.
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End.
Yeah, I really do like those films. I do. You were saying something else. I want to listen, but you stumbled accidentally into yet another Cole and if you say the words La La Land, it is over for Cole and I tonight.
No. So they were asking Edgar Wright if he ever had plans to do like a TV show, and he said no. He said, I like to tell stories in this form, and I feel like a lot of TV shows, and I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this, but it was a point about how long it takes to get into the meat of a TV show. And he said, a lot of the times you'll be talking to someone and you'll be saying, oh, I'm watching this thing, but I don't really like it. And then the person will say, just wait until you get into the 4th or 5th episode. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I want it to be good right away.
Me too.
And this is one of those things. Why are you choosing to make a movie? Why are you choosing to make a TV show? And why do you choose the format that you're using to tell it? Like, someone described a lot of TV now as very literate, or like Charles Dickens used to write all of his novels in sections in the newspaper. And this is this exact same thing. Like, it doesn't always. It might work better as a movie than it does as a TV show. But if you're going to use it as a TV show, then what you have to do is it follows a very specific way of telling a story. Right. And if you're going to stretch it out like that, then you want to keep the marrow. You want to keep the meat of the story.
I have a rebuttal to your Dickensian bullshit.
Oh, here we go.
Because that was a compliment to say, like, a lot of TV is like Dickens right now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Editor Cole will fact check this, but Dickens wrote that serialized format because he was being paid by the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not because it's better writing. He just needed to fill up more space, much like the streamers need to fill up more content.
Yeah, no, and I think the guy who said that to me was someone who's produced a lot of theater and someone who's produced a lot of television. And what he was talking about was the way that we consume TV now is pretty similar to the way that people consumed these newspapers in the past. Being very aware that of the medium in which you're working. So,
which sounds like your same argument, Cole, of like it's being written in a way that meets the demands of the capitalist structure.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a compliment being like, it's high literature, this television writing style. It's more, I think you guys are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you want me to break it down? Because it's interesting. I time coded it. So it opens, like we talked about this, so it has the title card. We know how long it's been since we last saw her, 371 days, 19 hours, 26 minutes. Then it opens in a bathroom scene. So we have just the back of Fleabag's head, but we immediately can recognize her. It shows that she has a bloody nose. And the first voice we hear, I love this. I think it's so brilliant. So we see her, we know she's there. But the first voice we hear is, we do not know this yet, but sexy priest, hot priest. So we hear a man's voice first. And he says, can I do anything? Can I do anything? Which is also very like foreshadowy. And she says, no, thank you.
And the sexy priest's voice coming from outside of the bathroom?
Correct. Yeah. Outside of the bathroom, calling in. She's cleaning off the blood on her nose, like off of her teeth. And then she looks at the camera. So we now know the conventions of the world stay the same. She's still going to break the fourth wall and look at us. And she says, this is a love story. Brilliant. Because it looks like a crime drama. And then she hands a towel to this woman kneeling on the floor, like WTF, who also has a bloody nose. And then it cuts. And that's 1 minute. So like that opens with this, like, what is going on? We have no idea.
There's classical music playing on the background. It's very slow. And it's really taking its time to do everything that it's doing, because what comes next is boom, boom,
crackling.
Boom, boom. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great point. Great point. Not quite a Chekhov's gun, if you will, but I think there's a lot of foreshadowing in this first 7 minutes. Then it cuts over and now we're in the dinner scene. And this is 90 seconds, which I think is brilliant. And this is when it feels like it's a montage. And this is when I think we're getting really like the condension. Totally a word. I went to state school. I would know. Condension of those first 3 episodes. Now we have this like 90-second run and she looks at the camera. So right away she's looking at the camera and talking to us. And she says, you know, you've done everything. And then it cuts and she squats. So doing everything is like squats, avocado toast, saying no to the hot dude and not having sex with him. You feel great. And then we see her laughing with friends, which is huge. Like, honestly, that's a really huge visual moment. She had no friends and her one friend died. So now we see she's with friends. She has community. You don't even think about. And then it cuts to Boo. It cuts to the husband kiss. And she says, your sister still hates you, but you're pretending to be friends because. Cuts to, and now we see a visual of them standing at a grave. Joke, a really funny good joke. She's like, just kidding, he's right there. Cuts to dad. He's raising a glass and they say, here's to love, and engaged. And so you're just getting this like rapid fire information, but it's like not just a montage. It's a montage. It's a monologue. It's a visual story. It intros a new character. It sets the scene. It keeps the world. Like, all of the characters are super well defined and individualized. So it's like a montage, but it's also, she's like monologuing, but it's like usually using visuals to describe it. So it's cuts, it's fast, rapid cuts. It's coming back into the present. It's doing a recap. Like, it's doing so much and it's doing it so fast. And then it ends, all of that ends, right? So we've done all of that stuff. We've seen the sexy priest. We know that they're engaged. We know what she's been up to. We remember the things from last season. Martin's still together. Claire's there. They're not talking. All of that happens in 90 seconds. And then the cap of that is Fleabag looking at the camera smug, like at us, kind of like, here we go. 90 seconds. And now we're like at the dinner party and we're like off and running.
what makes this so successful and so brilliant is because the format itself kind of can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Fleabag is a show that has a lot of these quick cuts, a lot of these flashbacks, a lot of these things built into it.
That's fair.
So when she opens it up with this montage, which I totally agree with you, like it's so much more effective. I don't want to see those. I don't doubt that she could write 3 really good episodes, and they would convey all that information and be very effective. But what really makes it so powerful and so funny and so wonderful, especially within the context of that particular episode, is because she has already trained us to see all that and to be used to it. And it's a little devastating, like within the episode. And it's also, I so admire it. I so admire it. Like that it is able to do that. It is able to communicate what it does. It's able to move us forward, and it's able to introduce everything that it needs to in order for us to understand what comes next. And that is no small feat.
Yeah.
Your point, Robby, about the visual language of it and the storytelling language that it established prior to.
Great point.
And that this moment couldn't exist without having already done that. That's such a specific language that it shouldn't and couldn't be applied to a lot of other types of stories.
That's a great point, Robby.
Like you've brought us to enjoy slice of life as a genre. I'm trying to imagine how dead the dog would be if we had to rewrite my life as a dog.
As a Phoebe Waller-Bridge. As a Phoebe Waller-Bridge joint.
Yeah, that is, I mean,
it's a great point.
There have been sequels that I've seen that have announced themselves in the opening scenes as "we're back," and it, which is not what made the movie itself the thing that is based on good. And what's coming to mind is 48 hours and another 48 hours. So the first season, it seems to me, she is really trying to forgive herself. She is dealing with a lot of self-hatred and a lot of guilt and shame over what she did. And it comes out with in the low point of her family abandoning her, which is really the only people she cares about and are the only people who care about her. And then in the second season, that matters less. She has improved to where she's not as concerned about what they think of her. She is trying to be, it's going to be awful. She's trying to be her best self. Or maybe you can
No, that's all right.
Live, laugh, love.
It feels like such a cliche, but in what happens throughout the second season, she's very much her own person. What that does is it takes that, it uses the language of everything we've seen before and transforms it and shows us something new about this character. And then the character, like you said, is off and running exactly like that. I know I don't mean to be hyperbolic. I don't mean to be over enthusiastic, but it really is a miracle.
So in season 1, a beautiful thing that does is it does not give her really a redemption story. So she doesn't come out. It's not a real hero's journey. Mm-hmm. She starts low and she ends low, right? So she ends with her family abandoning her. And if anything, she's revealed to be more of a terrible person. So she's not just depraved. So she's a complicated character who stays complicated. She doesn't really get resolution.
It's the flat line of Hamlet's arc.
The flat line of Hamlet's arc, exactly.
I was quoting Kurt Vonnegut for Robby.
Oh.
That's right. That's right.
Robby totally knew that too. Anyway.
Thank you.
We don't close on the cafe being a success and she's eating avocado toast and she's laughing with friends, which is really unique that it ends like that. Mm-hmm. So it's everything's bad in her life, but we get a tiny little belief that perhaps there's still a little flicker of hope, which makes season 2 very easy. It naturally lends itself to doing what it does.
Yeah.
Because of the way it's created. And Ted Lasso does that too. And I find that very cool, where like when like the hero's journey is across episodes or it's like across seasons, and like Ted Lasso does that. And I think it's really cool too, where it's like, it's the 3 acts are each season.
Yeah.
Act 1 is season 1, Act 2 is season 2, Act 3 is season 3. So I think that that's really kind of cool and compelling and challenging to do. And like, you know, it's hard to have a whole season that's just like Act 2, because Act 2 is like inherently kind of, you don't have the rise and fall that takes people on the journey sort of thing. You're like right in the middle.
Part of what sends me over the edge about this is that I don't think you can ask this level of effort from 99.9% of humans, much less humans who are under a deadline and or doing this for a living.
Agreed. That's fair.
And Robby, you expanded on that when we were talking about, well, Apple TV has announced the season's going to be airing on XYZ date.
Yeah. There's a practical side to it, which is there's not a lot of like, I don't know how many people are in a position where they can go, you know what, I wrote 3 things.
3 really good things.
3 really good things. And you know what?
Put them in the bin.
It doesn't quite do what I want to do. And I'm so glad she did. You get one chance to do it. I get a little bit defensive on behalf of the people who are trying to do it. And that's just the, it's the teacher in me, which is like the first episode of Fleabag and the 2 seasons of Fleabag are like a miracle. Like they are not, I mean, they are rare. And they do not happen all the time. And it takes, I've seen shows of her since.
Yeah, and it's not the same magic in the bottle.
It is like, oh my God, like, thank you. Every single thing you're doing is right. Oh, that was right. Oh, that was right. Oh, another thing. Oh my God, how can you, and it just gets more and more exciting. And the rest of the world doesn't quite work like that in the real world or in the entertainment world or in
the writers' rooms.
In the writers' rooms and things like that.
And she did it before. I mean, a lot of this was before she had Amazon money. There's like a lot of discussion about how she's on her 3rd Amazon multi-million-dollar contract. I think she's made $20 million twice. And she's made nothing.
She's output nothing.
Okay.
Nothing has hit our eyeballs and impacted the Amazon Prime algorithm. And there's a lot of talk about her perfectionism getting in the way. And then like costing so much money and like development and time. Like there's a Tomb Raider series and it went through 2 different writers' rooms and like tens of thousands or tens of millions of dollars of development, and it may never see the light of day. And in reading a lot more about her process, like she took Fleabag to Edinburgh as a 1-person show, but it started as a stand-up thing, and then it went around to London, and then it went to Edinburgh, and then it came back to London, and then it became a TV show, and it was over years. I think it started in 2011, and then like went on for years. I have one of the scripts, and it has like all this like background from everybody who's been a part of it over the years. And one of the people did say like, it was like just a magical thing that came out of her. Like it was the thing that she was meant to write and exist, and it needed to be done. And it's unique. So
it seems to me to apply that to other shows is a little unfair, only in that like it doesn't mean that if you do apply that to other shows, it's going to work the same way.
Fair. And you made that point last time, and I was very compelled by it. Go ahead, please.
But the thing that it does get across, and the thing that I think a lot of people try to get to, is that efficiency you're talking about, but also like you're narrowing down the story you're trying to tell. What do you need in order to get you from the first moment to the second moment? What do you need to get from the second moment to the third moment? Where are we trying to go with each episode? There's so many moving parts. And so I think the only reason I got a little upset.
You're allowed.
Was because it's like, it doesn't feel that easy.
No, that's fair. Why do you think I never finish anything?
Right. But also that it is such a great piece of advice, and it is something to aspire to, I think, as well.
I know the listener was not privy to our first recording, but I have shifted. Cole will be shocked. What I really believe, for one, I don't want everything to be Fleabag. That would be so boring.
Right.
So I don't want that. And I think we saw a lot of things try to be Fleabag in the years since, and nothing ever will be, and that's good. And we should try to do new innovative things. But I've shifted from thinking it is absolutely 100% accurate to be able to use this as a measuring stick to judge everything. Like everything should write 3 episodes and throw it out. And I do kind of believe that. What I will instead shift to is I like to apply that to myself.
Right.
What I aim for is, and what I wish everything could do at a perfect level is, like what is interesting? What story are we really telling? And sometimes that takes work. Like you have to kind of write through until you're like, oh, this is the thing. This is what's interesting. This is the surprise. And how do you get there efficiently? And I have yet to ever sit down to write something and it never is about what I think it's about. I have to write a while before I'm like, oh, this is actually, it's about Q. I thought I was writing about A, B, and C. It's about Q. And now I know that. So now let's play with Q and like, let's focus in on Q. And I don't need all this extra stuff. So I have turned it into a goal for myself. I do still think it's a worthwhile note of like, you don't have to watch the first 3 episodes. I can sum them up in a thing, or like, you don't need the first hour and a half of that movie. You could just watch this part. And I mean, I'm a person who likes scenes. We bring scenes to this thing because I love little vignettes. I quote Hemingway to Cole all the time. I love efficiency of story.
I don't want to hear this ever again, but other people should. Could you tell the whole Hemingway story, please? The full word for word, the story that you always quote.
For sale, baby shoes, never worn. It's the shortest story. And it's heartbreaking and brilliant. And you go on a whole journey and you know everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it last time we recorded. Again, I don't know when people will hear this, but I think I got my efficiency of storytelling and my love of like visuals helping that out from you, Cole.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can be mad about Hemingway,
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first.
I learned it by watching you, Cole. I love you just go, oh.
Oh, with efficiency, I did want to say that part of the reason that this sent me over the edge is that
so dramatic
is that I had to I was privileged to work in the commercial space, Broadway commercial space, for a few years, and you have 30 seconds to quote unquote tell the entire story of this 4-hour long,
in a way that sells.
Yeah, 4-hour long show in a way that sells, that always has to end with get tickets now.
Yeah.
And
that's a constraint.
But because you had schooled me so deeply in the intro of Fleabag season 2, episode 1, I never found any 30-second commercial reference that somebody gave me to be as well done as this. So at any given point, everybody around there hated me because I was just like, it's not that good. Like this De Niro Amex commercial, a little long-winded.
This 15-second commercial is a little long-winded.
If Phoebe Waller-Bridge would have really cut this down.
Yeah. There's something I was thinking about while we were talking about this, and I think it's attributed to Mario Cuomo. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's Mario Cuomo. You campaign in poetry and you govern in prose.
Ooh, okay.
At one point, Mamdani, at the beginning of the speech, says the name Andrew Cuomo, basically says bye-bye. And then he says, and that's also the last time I'm ever going to utter his name.
A great New Yorker once said that while you campaign in poetry, you govern in prose. If that must be true, let the prose we write still rhyme, and let us build a shining city for all.
And I was thinking about that in terms of like how we talk about, like how we criticize a piece of art and then how we create a piece of art. We try to be as like poetic and as insightful as we can. But then when we sit down and write something, it is really like, I got my first act I got to introduce my characters. I got to figure out how to get you to like understand who they are. I got to understand, there's a second character that they fall in love with, and I got to figure out like who this person is. And like, that's like the work, like that's all prose. But when we talk about like how we criticize or how we elevate another piece, it's like it's all in poetry. Like we want to sound great because we want to be as great as the thing that we love.
Damn. I feel a little red to filth, and also like, wow, yeah, that's true.
I used to write reviews of off Broadway shows for this website called NewYorkTheater.com.
I did not know
and
that.
I was not very nice when I did
no.
it. I was not, because I was like, I want theater to be a certain way, and I want it to work a certain way. And I said some pretty awful things. I mean, I said some very nice things too, but I said some very, very awful things. And I regret doing that. Like, you can probably find these things online, and I've called people out in a way that wasn't very nice, but that I thought was witty and I thought was fun. And I just regret.
Just for context, this is Robby reading a quote. About my play, Robby writes, "At some point, though, the show became too large, too precise, too polished. I'm trying to be upset, but honestly, that's not the worst review. Is it possible that Robby is just too nice to be a proper critic?"
You made a really good point the last time we tried to record this podcast, or the last time we did record it, but we threw it out and we're not going to use it. We're doing it again, so it's better. Help me find a better word, because this isn't the right word, but you were more defensive. You were like really struck by this. Was all new for you. You'd never heard me say it, and you didn't like it. You were very like, well, the way it's done is the way it's supposed to be done because it was done. Like, each artist gets to do the thing their way. Don't tell them how to do their art. And I just think that's beautiful. I think you're right. This is one approach, and I think it worked really well in this case. And I think it's like a tool we can all pick up and try. But like, there are many ways to do great things. I've given a lot of thought about the things that I critique in others are really just the abusive voices I say to myself.
Yeah.
And so as we're talking about that, like holding this as like the rule up against everything to ever be done, and like the things that I would say about like what Ted Lasso's not doing in the first 6 episodes, and it's one of my favorite things to exist. I feel very strongly about it too, is actually just sort of like a self-abusive voice that's just hurting me and like holding me back.
Yeah.
It's really depressing to think about, but very eye-opening.
Yeah.
So thanks, you've changed me a little. I'm like, maybe I could be gentler, not only on everything, but myself too.
Yeah.
Because those writers are doing amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, like anyone.
When I think about them as people and not just, some behemoth show, it's like, oh yeah, they made choices and they were up against constrictions.
Yeah.
Constructions. Don't, Cole. Your face is screaming again. You are silent, but your face is screaming.
I literally didn't say anything.
Anyway.
But I need people to watch this scene and listen to everything that you're about to say, because it is amazing.
It's a great scene.
Yeah.
It is just a great scene. Phoebe Waller-Bridge did good.
She did good. We're fans.
And the whole season's excellent, my humble opinion.
And freaking season.
It has one of the best full story lines that we talked about, which is "It'll pass," which Robby put into his singular reading of his play.
For Jaclynn.
One of the nicest things ever.
Thank you so much for digging into that and
Was
for
there
being
anything else
so
you wanted to say, Cole?
thankful that you put me through 10 years of listening to this.